Right then, player ratings. United, Crystal Palace. And there's some low ratings in this. There are some low ratings in this. So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper than we have done in the 5 things and in the match review. And as always, this isn't just here's what Steve thinks and everyone else shut the fuck up. I do listen to some of your opinions on this as well. And sometimes, I am allowed to disagree with what you say. And sometimes I absolutely agree with what you say. And sometimes there's some people hit me with some real good different perspectives that I haven't thought about. So as always, get involved with your opinions and your comments. There was a guy yesterday telling me that I said Garnacho should never play. And I said, Marcus should start the season. And then he even sent me a video telling me I'd said one thing with a timestamp of the part in the video where I literally said the opposite. Anyway, it's always going to happen, isn't it? Frustrating, though, isn't it? Almost as frustrating as drawing 0-0 with Crystal Palace when you absolutely deserve to win the game. Right, let's start in goal with Onana. 9 out of 10. What more do you want him to do? It was a quiet first half, didn't really have a lot to do. But when Palace did begin to threaten in the second half, he came up trumps. And he had a genuine game-defining double save to deny Nketiah and Sarr. The quick reactions, honestly, I don't know how he managed to get on it. It was unbelievable and critical in preserving that clean sheet. 83% pass completion. He does give us a little bit of confidence playing out. He's relaxing with us. I'd like to see him hitting some early, dangerous, over-the-top long balls when we've got the pace in behind to be able to do some damage. But for the moment, I think we're trying to get a level of control in games. When you look back to all the things that went bad last season, I think that this season we have played with more control and we have played with a little bit more of that sort of stuff. So I'm just happy that we're doing the right kind of thing at the moment. So I will take it. But yeah, 4 saves and some big ones in that as well. Ones that really needed to happen. Okay, Dean Henderson had more, but I'm not doing the Crystal Palace ratings. I'm doing the United ones. Dalot, 7 out of 10. It was a decent game from Dalot, defensively sharp, and he was good again in possession. 91% pass completion, 53 out of 58, won 6 out of his 9 duels. He's shown an ability to break up play, get the ball going forward, decent positioning in keeping Palace pinned back, contributed a big chance early doors. 2 dribbles, both successful as well. So getting back on the horse a little bit there for Dalot after a ropey game against Southampton. Ligt, 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was solid. He really nullified the Palace attack on the few forays that they had. Big figure in dealing with Mateta, who's in big form and was unlucky not to score with his header. Really unlucky. I think he just hits it straight or even hits it worse and it probably goes in. He had 94 touches, completed 78 out of 83 passes and was dominant at the back. 4 clearances, 2 interceptions. Really, really good performance from him. Martinez, by contrast, had a little bit of a mixed night. Defensively, he was pretty sound. And I saw some people saying that I'd hammer Maguire for the sort of in-possession performance. Hammer Maguire for an in-possession performance like that, and Martinez is going to get the same sort of thing. The difference with Martinez is you still have that defensive solidity and ability to play high that Maguire doesn't give you. So this isn't a case for, he was a bit slow in possession today, so fuck him off and get Maguire. Maguire's always slow in possession. There's a massive difference with that. But that 2-footed challenge was mad. And I think there's been a huge overreaction to it. But you also have to question the decision of doing it. You go studs up into anything. Like, the Palace player puts his foot a little bit further forward, and you're looking at a very, very dangerous situation. I don't know if he did it to intimidate the Palace player to not even going into it, but he just didn't need it, did it? His ball retention suffered late on, and he really slowed down United's tempo. Earlier, first half, it was sound, and he was finding Eriksen real nice. But second half, I don't know what happened to him. Now, he made 96 out of 111 passes, which is, okay, it's nice. But there was a lack of quality that we normally see. Later on, as we got later on in the game, it kind of just disintegrated. Like, did his head go? Did his head go over something that we've not picked up? And that's why we're seeing that 2-footer and like, because I can't explain what it was about. 1 tackle, 3 clearances, couple of interceptions, got on the ball a lot, but slowed it down a lot for us. So 5.5 out of 10, which I think is the lowest I've ever given Martinez. Mazraoui, 7.5 out of 10. I could even argue an 8 in here, honestly. But we've just come to expect a level of performance from him, haven't we now? He contributes offensively and defensively. He won 7 of his duels. He was solid in his tackles. He had 5 clearances, 3 interceptions. He's just really intelligent footballer. 54 out of 61 passes, which is a little bit low for him. He didn't deliver many crosses, but the positional awareness of him just keeps United's balance. His dribbling was excellent, got 3 out of 5 of those. He links up real nice with Ahmad down that right-hand side. I just really enjoy watching him play football, and I think he's been such a good signing for us. I keep saying it every single time he plays, but he keeps playing the same. I don't know how else to say it. Like, he's been class, and he's anyway. Christian Eriksen, I'm going to say 8.5. I think he was one of United's standout players. 3 key passes, 88% pass accuracy. He was getting on the ball. He had so much time. He kept the tempo. He found pockets of space, and he was in so much space when he got into those pockets as well. The vision is so clear in every single aspect of United's build-up, and the delivery from set plays caused Palace problems. He had 1 big chance, which he managed to create. His crossing wasn't as good. Only 2 successful from 9. But, crosses are low percentage passes anyway, so it's not too bad. I think you're supposed to hit about 25% of your crosses. So he's a little bit outside that, but not too much. I wonder, is there an opportunity? And when would be the right game? Maybe 20 in the week is an opportunity to try it. But if Bruno, and we're going to talk about Bruno in a second, if Bruno's form doesn't start meshing with the rest of the team around him, he could find himself on the out. And I wonder, is there a lineup where Erik Ten Hag goes, you know what, let me give Eriksen the creative role, because there's a lot more control in how Eriksen creates opportunities. And, from the amount of touches he had versus Bruno, he created more, literally created more than Bruno did in that game. So I wonder, is there an opportunity? Because you can still, you don't have to play him as a full 10, but you can play a midfield 3, which I think would give United so much more balance anyway. I mean, we did a video on that like 2 weeks ago. Can we bring Bruno further back and make it a 3? I wonder, is Eriksen being the creative 8, played alongside a Mainoo and Ugarte, or even a Casemiro and Ugarte? I think Eriksen's playing his way into real contention to be starting for United. And it's up to everybody else to match that or beat that or find themselves on the bench. That's how it should be. There shouldn't be anybody in this team who just turns up and knows that they're starting week in, week out. Kobbie Mainoo. Now, 6.5 out of 10. I thought he worked hard in midfield, decent defensive cover, and he kept things simple. 90% pass completion, which is very normal for Mainoo in midfield. But his impact on the game was a little bit more functional than it was creative. And maybe that's why we failed to score. But I think when you pair him with Christian Eriksen and you don't have an Ugarte in behind you, you are asking Mainoo to perhaps be a little bit more of a defensive screen, because of, even though you don't associate like Kante level legs with Kobbie Mainoo at all, but you really don't associate that with Christian Eriksen. So I wonder, when those two are deployed behind Bruno, someone's going to have to pick up the slack when it comes to defending. And I wonder, is that where, when we see Kobbie Mainoo paired alongside a Christian Eriksen, we just don't really see that from him. So it's going to be really interesting how how we choose and how we deploy our midfield three. I think he's going to be very, very key to how we do things going forward. And I spoke a little bit yesterday, and even in my 5 things this morning. I wonder, is there a way to go with, because of the way Zirkzee plays, to have Zirkzee take over the Bruno role? And that's not necessarily even to say drop Bruno, because I think Bruno would work fantastically well played deeper. You know, he's got the energy to cover the ground. He's actually better with that distance in front of him to be able to find the passes because he's got the range. Like, I almost think he's not suited to playing in the 10. But anyway, who are we on to next? Let's go Zirkzee. So I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. I really think he's not going to score loads of goals, but I think his hold-up play and his link-up play, especially with the way he was releasing Garnacho, is excellent. He created a chance early on. He had a key pass. Heavily involved. Couple of dribbles, which were nice. And he came off in the 61st minute, which was probably a little bit of a surprise because he was so key in United's dominance. 94% pass completion, which is weird for a forward, isn't it? Effective in his duels. I'm liking what I'm seeing with him. He's a slow burner, but the thing is, he has to score. So he's getting chances, and he needs to start putting those chances away because it's really important. You know, the external measuring of Manchester United players should be irrelevant, but it's not, because it can heap pressure on them. If he can just contribute with a few goals, it really starts to take the pressure off him, because his all-round performances are good. And he's getting into spaces to finish. We just need to start seeing him finish a little bit. All of the ingredients are there. He's just got to put it at the right temperature, and it'll be there. Garnacho. I'm going to say 7.5 out of 10. He was a menace. He forced a stunning save from Henderson. He's also hit the woodwork with that curling effort that he had. Only completed 2 dribbles, but became less involved when he got switched over to that right-hand side. Definitely could have been more clinical. 2 big chances missed, but he caused Palace problems throughout. I still don't think he should start every single week, but I also don't think Marcus should start every single week. I think that one of these... I keep saying 3 wingers, and in my head I'm thinking there's 3 wingers, but there's 4. Anthony exists. He's just... yeah, go play with fucking Lego or something. Don't worry about scoring goals for United just yet. These 3 have to start contributing goals. Diallo, Rashford, Garnacho. They have to start contributing with a lot of goals, because there's nobody scoring in this team at the moment. And you're going to see increasingly more results like we've just seen if we don't start scoring goals. Simple as that. But yeah, decent showing from Garnacho yesterday. Diallo. Now, I thought Diallo was tidy again in possession. Real good decision-making, as always. 82% pass accuracy, 4 dribble attempts. His link-up play with both Bruno, Zirkzee, and Mazraoui, I think, is really encouraging. But I almost want to see him being a little bit more selfish at times. Again, you've got to score. You've got the same pressure on you as is on Garnacho, as is on Rashford, as is on Zirkzee, and as is going to be on Højlund when he starts playing games regularly as well. And Bruno. He's not scoring either. We got to start scoring some goals. And sometimes that comes from being, all right, the pass is on, but I'm going to try and score myself a little bit here as well. Because as soon as you get that 1 goal, you can be the most unselfish player in the world, and I'm going to set him up now. My goal now is him. And that's when a team starts really functioning. But yeah, it was good. It was good. 7 out of 10. Diallo, I think. In terms of the subs, I haven't really got a lot to say on the subs. They didn't really work. Marcus, 5 out of 10. Didn't influence the game. No threat, no creativity. Højlund just didn't get involved. 5 out of 10. Pressed a little bit, but yeah, he didn't come on to do that. He came on to go and score as a goal, and he didn't do that. Ugarte, probably 6 out of 10. Solid, nothing game-changing. And it just summed up, like, United had total dominance and control of the game, 67%, and created chances. But the finishing was poor, and it was a little bit of a masterclass from Dean Henderson, which denied us the victory, but ultimately not good enough. Anyway, Europa League midweek on a Wednesday this time, so we can almost pretend that it's not. Yeah, it's going to be Bit of a mad one, innit? I don't think he'll rotate heavily for this. I think you're going to see a fairly strong Manchester United side in this game. But I do think there are big decisions to be made in midfield. Who and how you deploy that midfield is going to be very, very important for us. And I don't think the answers are as clear as they perhaps have been over the last 4 or 5 years. But as always, please let me know your thoughts. And I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.